Yeah, yeah. Fresh out the cell with a plan and a boo. Anklet beeping, but my heart's beating for you. Let's go. Met her on a prison pen pal site. She said you cute even in that orange light. Now I'm home and I'm free, kinda on probation. She picked me up in a Prius, pure elation. Got a teardrop tat and a heart full of dreams. She brought cupcakes and some government cheese. I said, girl, you a snack, maybe even a feast. She said, you just hungry cause you live with the beast. Love after lockup, wild and free. Got no keys, but she got the key to me. From yard time to FaceTime, look at us glow. From prison phone calls to reality show. Love after lockup, we don't play. Tinder got nothing on JPay. I did my time, now I'm doing hers. Doing laundry and love, both in spurts.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Love After Lockup Lockdown, where we are covering Season 2, Episode 9. As always, you can find us in our Facebook group at Love After Lockup Locked Down or on our Instagram at LALU Locked Down. I'm Jennifer.
I'm Lisa.
And today we are covering the $800,000 hustle. Lisa, how are you today?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Not too bad.
Do you have any road work going on outside?
Not today. There's a lot of rain. Sometimes they don't work in the rain. So I'm hoping that holds out for at least the duration of this recording. They're so
You can't
loud.
drill in the rain.
Oh, it drives me crazy because when I'm editing the audio, there's just scraping of the road, construction equipment, and I'm like, come on. They're supposed to be here until like October.
And did you ever notice they'll have like 50 guys out there and like there's 5 of them standing around a hole and then 6 of them holding up one shovel? It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, they all stand there
Yeah,
looking into the hole where you assume there's probably someone else down in the hole. But
yeah. But how many men do you need to stand around and stare at the other guy that's in the hole? In the hole?
this sounds like a movie I saw online recently.
Yeah. But at least I'm not the only one who observes this because it's just, people make jokes about it, but it's definitely true. When they were fixing all the potholes around here, I literally watched, and I'm not even kidding you, there were 4 guys standing around one pothole with holding shovels while the one puts the blacktop in the hole, that like loose shit. And
Yeah.
they're all standing there and I'm like, what is happening here? Can't you guys just move on to the next hole that's next to that hole? What are we doing?
There's got to be some rhyme or reason to it.
I don't know. They're trying to get their hours in for the day. We're pissing off every construction worker right now. Road worker. I should say road worker, not construction worker.
I'm not mad at the road workers. I just wish that they would be done here and move on. I feel like they've torn up my yard, they've torn up the road. It's their job.
But will you be anxious of whether they're going to put new grass down and they're
No, I
not
don't
just going to walk away with a mud pit?
I don't care.
No.
It's not that bad, but it's already starting to grow back, so I'm not super worked up about it. Everybody's yard is torn up, so we're not the only ones.
That would be like on my mind. I'd be like, what when are they putting the grass down? Are they going to plant new grass? What's going on?
If I got my grass filled in, I would just be hoity-toity on the street, be the only one with actual grass. I feel like I'm not confident they're not going to come back and dig it up again, so I'm not going to bother with it right now.
Yeah. It's always next season when,
Yeah.
and then you could harass them, be like, hey, you took away my grass, now you give it back.
You're not even going to sprinkle seed? What the hell? This week we start off with Clint and Tracy, and Clint is getting a cup of coffee. It's been 2 days since he's seen her, and he's worried because he knows what it's like out there for beautiful females.
Yeah, that are by themselves, no
Right,
less.
right.
I'm sure she finds her. I'm sure she's got uh all her buddies in the alleyways helping her out, watching out for her.
I'm sure Tracy's pretty street smart, considering
Yeah,
at least more street smart than I would consider. This isn't her first rodeo. She
no.
has been through this before, and it sounds like she's spent plenty of time running the streets. And
Yep.
it may be a situation where she's only sober in prison.
And we don't even know that because we've learned by Lizzie you can have just access to tons of drugs in prison.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very good point.
Depend on the prison and how good the system is wherever you are. I'm
Mhm.
sure, I mean, it all leaks in every prison, but I don't know, it seems like it was pretty rampant in Lizzie's.
Well, she could spend all of that money. I mean, she has none of the $800,000. Yeah.
So he's nervous to tell the ex-wife about what happened, and then he winds up telling her what happened.
Yeah, he says, "I'm nervous about doing this," and then immediately tells her, like, doesn't hold back at all. So I don't know how nervous he really was.
Yeah. And he received a bill, I gasped. We talked about this a little bit on the last episode because we were kind of scooching ahead. But he received a bill for $21,000 for the missing rental car because he clearly didn't get the insurances on it.
Right. And I'll tell you what, if you're going to put yourself in a bad situation, maybe you take out as much insurance as you possibly can. But $21,000, he probably doesn't make significantly more than that a year. Like, I mean, even if he makes double that, that's still 50% of his salary. And, you know,
Yeah, it's a lot, and he's the way he's acting is not, like, super concerned, like, I would be shitting my pants, and he's, like, not that worried.
yeah, he's like, "Oh, it's not that bad. I had $200 bills in my wallet, and she only took one of them, and she left my cards and her ring, and so that's how I know she loves me."
That is
What?
so crazy. That is, like, abused spouse shit.
I feel like his ex-wife cares more about him than Tracy does, and it's not that I think Tracy's a bad person, I just think that she prioritizes her drug use over him. So I think that she
Yeah,
cares about him, and I think that she cares about him more than just what he can do for her. But unfortunately, I think the addiction has hold of her so much so that it takes priority over how much she cares about him. But I do think she genuinely does have feelings for him.
yeah, I think she does actually, like him, but I don't know. I mean, this whole time I'm like, she's definitely gonna come back, but I'm wondering if she's gonna come back with the car, where the car is gonna be, what condition the car is gonna be in. Who, for all we know, she gives it away for drugs. We don't know yet.
Right.
But the asks if he's willing to turn her in.
Mhm.
And, then I cracked up when she said, "I don't want him to have an inmate.com account."
Yeah, she says Tracy never loved him and was using him as a security blanket, which I mean, I would have said exactly the same thing because at that point, that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, and he also says he will not go through divorce with Tracy because he loves her too much. Well, he might not have a choice, but
That's the thing. Trying to cover up for somebody else's bad behavior eventually will get you in trouble.
yeah.
So, yeah, he agrees to go talk to the lawyer for advice, but when he gets there, he's not into turning her in or doing anything to help himself. Which at that point, why did you bother to go? Why waste
I
everybody's
know.
time?
Yeah, why are you there? I think he's just there because he's being pushed because we know he's not funding his own life by himself, or we perceive he has help.
Right.
We don't know how much help he has, but I think he was pushed into it, because it's like everyone was like, you got to do something here. You can't just let this go.
I feel like his mom is still friends with his ex-wife. Don't they seem like they would be friends?
Yeah. Yeah.
Next up, Scott and Lizzie. They arrive at a church with the kids so she can go to confession.
Yeah, they're walking through the church, and Scott tells the kids to watch their mouths because they're in a church.
This is when Lizzie tells Jasmine that Scott proposed to her. Jasmine is none too happy.
Yeah, she just says, "Isn't it too soon?" And I yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't think it should happen at all. But
Adam says the ring looks expensive, and Lizzie says that she deserves the best. And Adam, to us, questions whether she actually wants to marry him or she just wants his money. And it seems like Adam's frustration with the situation, he was pretty easygoing and accepting of it, when we first met him in episode 1. But it seems as time progresses, the more his dad does, the more frustrated Adam is getting. And I don't get a sense of he's like, you're blowing your savings and now I'm not going to get anything, as much as it's like, you're blowing your savings and you're not going to have anything. Like, you
yeah,
have spent everything.
yeah, I don't think that Adam's concerned about himself at all in this. I think he's just concerned about Dad. I don't. Yeah, he never really seems like he's worried about anyone but his dad. What's happening with his dad? Whether his dad's being taken advantage of. I find it really ironic that we're going to a confessional because, like, Lizzie being, I'm gonna guess this is Catholic. I don't know, but a lot of people in the Catholic religion, I think, not a lot, let's not say a lot, some, and some people that I know, you can do all kinds of shitty things, but if you just go to that confessional and tell that priest what you've done, that you can repent for your sins and then everything will be fine. That's not how this works.
I thought Catholics were the only ones who had confession.
I think so, but I don't know a ton about religion. But you just can't be a shitty person and then go talk to a self-proclaimed priest, basically, who's just a regular guy, but, in the Catholic Church, he's a messenger for God. But you can't just do shitty stuff and then just go say, I did all this shitty stuff, now forgive me. It's, and all you got to do is chant at night and all is well.
Well, it doesn't make sense to me, but I'm not a Catholic. I do
Yeah.
not have. I agree with you.
Yeah. Loosely, I mean, yeah, I'm not, I would think that a lot of the world with all that's going on in the Catholic Church would probably agree with us too, because they've lost a lot of people. Let's just put it that way with all their scandal.
Yeah, I'm not trying to besmirch the Catholic religion,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Jasmine says it's too soon and asks Lizzie repeatedly if she's sure. And Lizzie tells her that she loves Scott. Now, this is, I think, the first time that she's really said that she loves him. Has she said it before?
I don't think so, and I really don't believe that to be true at all. Not in any way, shape, or form.
No, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, if she didn't love him, she would at least maybe express some sort of care for him, but she really doesn't do that either. She's just worried about herself and her own needs and her own wants and not really much about Scott. And we know she's trying to change him, mold him into what she wants, and it's not looking like someone who loves someone for sure.
If she's in love with anything, it would be Scott's support. So not Scott, but the idea of Scott, maybe. And I don't think it has anything to do with Scott other than his money.
Yeah, Lizzie's main loves in life are drugs and money,
Right.
clearly, and probably shoes. Um, Scott says that Jasmine is acting exactly as he expected. Because, well, I mean, she's pretty much now making it known that she's not happy about any of this. She doesn't like him. She doesn't like her mom and Scott together. And Lizzie makes every situation more and more awkward. And of course, she has to tell Scott to say his vows, put the poor guy on the spot, and he can't think about what the hell to say. And I wouldn't either. Even if I did love the person, I'd be like, oh, this is embarrassing.
That is exactly what I was thinking. If you put me on the spot, then I panic and I have no words. You know what I mean? Like, very rarely can I just pull them right out of my butt and be like, here we go. I have something clever to say. But he tried, and I thought that for an on the spot, give me your vows, that it wasn't too bad. You know what I mean? I don't know what she expected from him. But Jasmine's like, that's it? Yeah, that's it. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I not everyone could do that. And if you can, honestly, then you're probably, I don't know, like if you can just pull all kinds of random shit out of your hat, like would that even be like sincere at that point? Be like, you're the most, we could be like, Clint, you're the most beautiful goddess in the world and you're perfect and I love you so much and I could never love anyone else.
This is why I write and don't publicly speak, because then you can't edit your public speaking. You can edit
Yeah.
your writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next up, Megan, Michael, and Sarah. Megan and Michael are laying in bed, and I tried not to vomit.
Yeah. Megan says her legs are sore, and again, I tried not to vomit as well.
Dude, she says she has been de-virginified.
Yeah, she can't stop smiling. And this is what, oh man, I wanted to reach through the damn screen. She says having sex after 2 years was amazing. Meanwhile, we fully freaking know he's had sex with Sarah because she might be pregnant.
She asks him how it's been not having sex for 2 years. And he says, oh, it's been like everything to have sex with you.
He's such a POS.
Like, that's even an understatement. I don't even know what to call him because he's so awful.
He is awful. He's just nauseating. We cut over to Sarah and she says that her husband hasn't come home in 20 hours, but she's not scared of who he's with
That's
because
so weird.
make up your mind, Sarah. Is he a cheater? Is he not a cheater? Is he going to cheat on you again? Is he not going to cheat on you again? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy?
He tells the producers, again, recorded, and eventually he knows that she's going to see it, that he
Mhm.
prefers sex with Megan and hasn't had sex with Sarah in, quote, in a minute.
And that's so not true.
Or literally true, just been a minute.
It's been just a minute. Because we know they had sex when he got out, and we even speculated they might have had sex in prison because they got married in prison, and we don't know the rules of conjugal visits and all that. Um,
Again, we do encourage our listeners to come on to the Facebook page. You can find us there at Love After Lockup, Lockdown. Join the group, and we have discussions ongoing there throughout the week, in addition to the episodes that we release. So if you know about conjugal visits and would love to give us some information, we would greatly appreciate that.
yeah, absolutely, please, because I know that we have 100% said a lot of shit that's wrong on this show. Namely, we kept saying this was produced in the season one was 2012, and that wasn't even remotely close. It was 2018.
Oh,
But anything else we've said that we don't know about or we've said that's wrong, just go in there. It's Love After Lockup Locked Down, and it is a Facebook group, and you can find links to it from our two profiles we have, which is Love After Lockup Locked Down, and then we also have LALU Locked Down. And we're also on Instagram under LALU Lockdown as well. Um, so Megan saying things like, this is our first time having breakfast in bed. And I'm gonna say, Sarah, it's probably the last time. I mean, not Sarah, Megan. I'm gonna say
right.
Megan, it's probably the last time because people like Michael, they come out of the gates, super strong. And then this shit wanes. And then also, we still have a wife who I think would have a problem with him coming to your house to give you breakfast in bed.
Absolutely. Sarah says he's just not himself right now. And the thing is, I think that he is more himself right now than he ever has been. This is probably exactly who Michael is.
Yeah. That's spot on. That is spot on. I was shocked, and he's going into things like he's thinking about transferring his parole so he can be with Megan. He's considering marrying Megan. I'm like, dude, you're already fucking married. When are we going to address the elephant in the room here, Michael? This is not legal.
Yeah, he acts like if he just says stuff, then it can happen that way. I'm going to marry Megan. Oh, I'm saving up for a wedding. Oh, I'm working. None of those things are true. Like, you have to divorce Sarah before you can do anything with Megan, with.
He's going to tell Sarah first, then tell Megan. And I don't, I oh, okay, that's I guess maybe the only thing I agree with at this point, because he should tell Sarah first, I think. What do you think? Do you think he should tell Sarah first?
I think he owes the truth, I guess, to both of them, but he's married to Sarah, and
Yeah.
he needs to tell her. I don't
Mhm.
think he's going to, but he needs to.
Well, my opinion on that is if he chooses to tell Megan first, then his plan is to keep Megan a secret and keep both relationships going. If he tells Sarah first, that is that won't open him up to still being able to cheat on her without her knowing. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if he tells Megan, Megan might be in agreement. Okay, yeah, I'll be your side chick, and then we can just hide this. But if you know what I'm saying?
I don't get side chick vibe from Megan right now, but
No.
that's not to say that it couldn't develop into that or she couldn't continue to make bad decisions.
I think she would. I think she would, but I think she would he'd okay. He'd probably keep her snowed going, yeah, eventually I'm gonna leave her. Eventually I'm gonna leave her.
Probably.
I wouldn't not probably she probably wouldn't be in agreement with it for a long term, type of thing.
He could lie to her for long enough, I would say. She
Oh,
says
he's got a year.
she says she doesn't want to go home and asks him if she should start taking steps to move out to New York. And he's quick to say, "Hey, I don't even, maybe I'm not staying here. Maybe I'll go back to Michigan, but don't come out here." But she's
Yeah.
not at all tipped off by this. Oh, okay.
I think he panicked because he probably feels that she would just pick up and move out there. I
Right.
think, yeah.
And he decides at this point he's not going to tell her that he's married. So that's where he stands on that one.
Hmm.
He says he wants to propose and he already has a ring. So I'm not sure where this ring came from, where he got the money for it, why he's giving a ring to Megan when he's married to Sarah.
Well, now we know why he doesn't want the ring for Sarah. Well, we knew other reasons, but that's probably one of the big reasons because whatever money he may have had, he probably spent it on Megan's ring. So he doesn't have money for Sarah's ring.
That's very possible. And we've asked this question several times. What is his end goal? He says his end goal is to talk to Sarah and let her know he's got a girl. That's not really an end goal. Like, that's your next step. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Next up, Matt and Caitlin. He's telling his friend that she's been on his back to get a job, and his friend says, "You need to get a job." Yeah, man.
Yeah, these friends are realistic because these are not the friends that were in the drug lifestyle. These are men who moved on and started, adult lives in the correct way, their own apartments, full-time jobs. They don't go out and drink all week long. They go out to drink maybe once a week, maybe once or twice a month. They don't sit in a wheelbarrow and drink beer outside of mommy's house all day going, I don't want to work. Maybe I don't have to work.
Your cadence reminds me of Jules LeBron, the demure. Do you remember her?
No.
Oh, she was real popular. He says he's still in prison mode, and his friend tells him that making honest money will make him feel good, and he can't just keep committing crimes for the rest of his life.
You think? They're gonna his friend's gonna take him to go meet his boss so that he could possibly get a job. And in their infinite wisdom, he and his friend hit a vape before the interview, and I'm going to say that was 100% not nicotine. So, I mean, although you and I are pro marijuana, I don't think that's the right thing to do before a job interview.
Maybe it calms him down. Like, he is pretty an amped up dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it would calm him down.
I don't feel that was the right. I still don't feel like that was the right thing to do. I mean, last week we knew he's not on any medical marijuana for any sort of reason. He probably needs to be, but uh, it it's just I was like, man, that's a whatever. Like, it doesn't surprise me. Um, so the friend thinks that Matt and his boss will get along because they're both ex-cons, and I'm like, really? It's like saying, oh, for any you can think of a million things. Oh, you guys will get along because you both used to be cashiers. Why? Why does that mean anything?
I once Matt told him, he says he hates working. So if he's going to do something, it's going to have to be something he wants to do. Everybody I know hates working. Everybody.
Everybody, and even fun jobs eventually become work. I mean, let's just say it. It's work. I mean, yeah, I mean your end goal is not to go to work and have a grand time and be like, that was super fun. Your end goal is to get a paycheck so that you can afford your life. Get
Right.
done with the day and go home and enjoy your money and the roof over your head that money puts, you know?
Exactly. So the boss asks his friend if his friend's name is Sam. He asks Sam if he's going to vouch for Matt. And I feel like he very reluctantly vouched for
Yeah.
him, but he did do it, I think, because he was put on the spot. What was the alternative? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um and okay, well we'll talk about what happens here because I don't want to say anything too soon. He meets with the guy and he tells the guy about his dad's HVAC business, and the boss asks, what has he been doing for the last few years, and Matt says, "Oh, he's been in prison for 9 years."
Right.
And apparently this friend didn't tell the ex-con that was going to get along with his buddy because they're both ex-cons because he would have known this.
I could see him just questioning it to see what he would tell him. Also running down
Oh,
your experience. I mean, like, he Sam could have given him the full rundown of Matt, and he would still ask him to see how honest he would be about it.
yeah, that makes sense. But we do know that although Matt's dad owned the HVAC business, he really didn't do much work with the HVAC. Like, Matt himself didn't do much work with the HVAC business. Like,
Right.
basically he's just like, yeah, vicariously through my dad, I'm just an HVAC expert because my dad owned a business. That's not how it works, Matt. Not
Yeah.
how it works. You know?
The boss didn't seem super impressed with his listing of experience. And so he asks him if he knows how to use a paint sprayer. And Matt's like, oh, yeah, for sure. I can do that. So the boss says, great, get it ready to use and let's go from there. And Matt's like, no, I can't do that because I don't have any clothes because I just got out of prison. And he's like, you need money to buy
Mhm.
clothes and you need a job to have money.
And here's my thought on that. Get your freaking clothes dirty, because if you get this job, like we said, you can go then get a new set of clothes or a new wardrobe with your paycheck. Or if you go home and you're all painted up and you're like, Mom, I got a job, but all my clothes are painted. Mom might be like, oh, thank God you got a job. Here's some money for some clothes.
Right.
I found this was the biggest bullshit excuse. You know what I mean? He just didn't want to do it. He just didn't want to.
I think he didn't know how to. I think he said he
Oh,
knew
yeah.
how, and then he didn't know how, so when he got called on it, he made up a bullshit excuse about his clothes. That's what I think happened.
Yeah. Matt says this dude is being disrespectful. Of course, Matt's going to think everyone's disrespectful because this is his attitude towards any sort of authority. Because if a guy that owns a damn business tells you what to do and he's going to hire you, you fucking do what he tells you to do. Because that's what it's like having a goddamn boss. Get
Yeah.
over it and grow the hell up.
The boss tells him he doesn't seem driven, and he doesn't. I mean, when you ask him to do one thing and he's like, "Oh, no, I am not gonna do
Yeah.
that."
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, like that's a hell of an interview because I really hate interviews. I hate sitting there and just face to face eye contact with a stranger and talking about shit. This guy was just like, "Here, do this." And this is basically your interview and if you do it, you're hired. Hell yeah, like that's a great opportunity for an interview because you don't have to sit there and have awkward conversations.
Well, I mean, he caught him in a lie, and then Matt reacted because he was caught in a lie, and I think that's what upset him more than anything else. He was called out.
Mhm. But you know what? He could have also said he could have been honest, and he could have been like when he said, "Well, can you operate this spray painter?" Or what? He could have been like, "No, sir, but I'm willing to learn. Can you show me?" That's what the adult thing is to do, you know?
100%. So the boss tells him that he's not interested in employing him, and that's when Matt tells him that he isn't gonna work for him. "Well, that's fine, because I wasn't gonna hire you."
Yeah, I'm sure the guy's heartbroken.
Right.
He's not going to have another man child to babysit.
He says he'll punch the boss and get an assault 2 charge. Badass.
Mhm. Because that's how you deal with things in an adult world. You punch your boss if you don't like what they have to say.
He'll go back to prison, he's not afraid.
Yeah.
I have the belief that he is probably locked up right now.
Oh, really? Did you look him up? I meant to look him up.
No, I haven't. He seems like he's not gonna stay out.
No. No, no, no.
Basically, they just talk shit to each other and Matt leaves. And Sam questions him, like, how did this interview turn violent? What happened in the 3 minutes I walked down the road here? But Matt doesn't have an answer, and Sam's like,
Yeah. Clearly Sam doesn't know Matt as well as he should
yeah.
before he did this.
Well, and kind of what Joe said is it's probably they're not as close friends as the show is making them out to be, which would make sense.
Yeah, I think that, well, we do know they lived together, but this would have been before his drug years because the friend did say they lost touch once he started to get involved in drugs. So
Correct.
yeah, these are straight friends basically who he hasn't seen since he was himself straight. And then he had all those years of drugs and crime and jail. And this dude's just trying to hop in like as if Matt's just his old buddy, and that's not going to happen here.
Unfortunately. Yeah. So Sam takes him home, and then we jump over to Brittany and Marcelino, and they're holding hands, walking, and he tells her to watch out for tarantulas.
Yeah, she's been out of prison for a month and she hasn't yet told Marcelino about her relationship with Amanda. Now, I don't agree with her keeping secrets from him right out of the gates. I don't care. I know we like Brittany, but this isn't right.
I agree.
Especially how she knows how Marcelino is. This is not a guy who you hide stuff from. Even though he's going to have a problem with it, it doesn't mean you hide it.
I feel like she is going to do well, but slips up sometimes. You know what I mean? The whole thing with trying to pursue Amanda while she's with Marcelino, and he is showing all of these trends toward aggression, that bad decisions are continuing to be made. So I'm just hoping that it works out despite
Yeah.
those decisions.
So she does eventually start telling him about her relationship with her and that it's over, but they are still friends, and that they've seen each other since she's been out. And of course, this doesn't go over well with Marcelino.
Right.
And Brittany says he's blowing up the situation. And for once, he's not.
Yeah.
For once, he has the right to be pissed off.
He says he feels like his space was invaded.
Yeah, he brought her into their space, even though it was a hotel. It was still she was where they were temporarily living together, and that is upsetting. If you bring someone into your house and then don't tell your significant other that you brought that person in, especially for a reason like this, where she is attracted to her, she has had a sexual relationship with her before, and now she brings her into the hotel and then doesn't tell Marcelino about it. It would seem super invasive and really shady.
Yeah, I understand why he feels the way that he does. And then Brittany says something that really bothers me. She tells Marcelino to stop talking. And the only reason it bothers me is because he did the same thing to her. You know, he tells her to stop talking, and we don't accept that from Marcelino. We can't accept it from Brittany either.
Yeah, exactly. He this has him wondering what else she's hiding, and I agree. I would be like, okay, well, if she could hide this one thing, which wasn't a little thing, by the way,
Right.
what else is she hiding?
It makes perfect sense. Uh, He questions the camera people, telling them that they had to have known, but he has to have known that they weren't going to tell him that. Like, I haven't seen on the show where the camera folks or the producers share information, they just kind of encourage information to come out.
I was honestly surprised that they showed Marcelino breaking the third wall. I really was like kind of shocked about that. Like because he's not the first person to have confronted the camera people about what they saw, what they knew, and then didn't tell them. I mean, well, they can't because they have to keep the suspense and the drama going. But the fact that they showed him confronting them, well, I was like, wow, that doesn't usually happen in this type of show.
He says, fuck that and fuck you. Amen, Marcelino.
Hmm.
She says if they're going to get married, he has to trust her, period. And I agree that there has to be a level of trust, but I don't know that you can ever trust somebody, period. Like, I don't know that that's ever.
Yeah, I agree. And they don't really know each other like as well as they think they do, just as with all the couples. And it takes time to build trust. It takes time to build all of these foundations to a healthy and strong relationship, and they're not there yet. They're not even close. She's chasing after him and telling him that he's being childish. All right, well, in this case, all right, go ahead, be childish, because this would piss me off too. I'd be acting pretty childish right now too. And then he's drinking out of a flask, and I was a little taken back about that. I'm like, he's just walking around with liquor with him. He's got this little black flask.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah.
She says to him that she's never lied to him. Really? Really? You haven't? Like, if you hadn't lied, you would have told him the day that she was coming over. In fact, you would have told him before she came over because you
Yeah.
knew that she was coming over. You told us before she
Yeah.
got there.
There was more than one reason why she didn't tell him ahead of time, and we all know what one of those reasons probably was.
Right. So she came very close to making a very bad decision.
Yeah, she absolutely did. And it was all questionable. It None of it was right. Think about your significant other just Oh, taking a shirt off of someone and holding them in a pool. Come on. I
Right.
mean, that was really drawing the line. That is not something that he would have been okay with. She says he needs to compromise with her. For what? With what? What is she looking for here? But she wants him to believe in her and trust her. You're not you're not going in the right direction for any of that.
She tells him to not make her feel bad for telling the truth. But the problem is she didn't tell the truth out of the gate. So this is a delayed truth,
Yeah.
which is a lie.
It, a lot of this, and he keeps going back to this, is that he wants to make sure she doesn't get in trouble again because he wants her to change her life. He wants to help her change her life. This isn't the right direction for that because you're not supposed to be around ex-cons. You're not supposed to be doing these things. You're doing everything you're not supposed to do. You're lying to your man that you're going to marry. You're taking girls' tops off. Like, what are you doing? You
Right.
know, it's just at this point, like it's like we go back and forth. Like one day we're Brittany or Team Brittany, and one day we're Team Marcelino. We have to,
I mean, I can be Team Brittany and still believe that everything she does isn't perfect and okay.
yeah.
I hope the best for her.
Mm-hmm.
She says she won't stay with anyone who doesn't trust her, and maybe it's not going to work out. So we're really seeing the first cracks between the two of them.
Yeah, and she says she has the choice to stay out of trouble. Then that's true. No matter what Marcelino does, if she wants to get in trouble, it's ultimately her choice. And if she doesn't want to get in trouble, that's her choice as well.
Right.
Like with Tracy, you have the choice. It's only a you. I mean, if she wants to steal Marcelino's car and $100 out of his wallet, she's gonna do it. If she doesn't want to, she's not.
Next up, Scott and Lizzie. She's pretending they are getting married, and she is again complaining that, well, I wouldn't say she's again complaining. She's just still complaining that he can't come up with the vows on the spot.
Yeah, here's my little note on Lizzie, and it says, "Here's Lizzie acting like a child again."
Yeah.
Ta-da! We're on this trend where she acts like a kid.
She's criticizing his vows, but hers were crap. Like the stuff she's like, this is how you do it, and then spews a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it was terrible. I was like, "That's what you came back with? Come on, lady."
And they've decided either the day they got engaged or the next day that they're going to get married in a year.
Back to her vows real quick though. She says the stuff she says is like basically she says a bunch of stuff about prison and him having flaws. It's like that's what you're going to impress people with. That's what you're going to make him feel good about. Well, Scott, so I really love you, but I mean, I didn't love your long hair. I don't love your teeth. I didn't like your beard.
Don't really like anything but
Love
your
your
bank.
money.
Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
anything but your bank account.
Yeah.
So they show her in the confessional rattling off a couple of the, I assume, sins that she has committed. But if I'm not mistaken, and I could be, again, not Catholic, there are no cameras allowed in a confessional. Isn't the whole part of it about how it can never be because it's just between you and God and
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there has to be now, maybe for safety reasons. I don't know. Or she had just agreed to be recorded doing it by the production company. I really don't know the answer to that. But yeah, it is supposed to be private. It's a good question.
Jasmine asks him why he proposed so quickly.
Yeah, she says he doesn't even know her mom. Well, she doesn't know her mom either.
That's true. I think she's learning a lot about who Lizzie is, and she's not really happy about what she finds.
Yeah, it's easy to be like, "Oh, I have my mom back now," but forget about all the shitty stuff your mom did and also abandoning you on let's not forget about that. She did not prioritize you, Jasmine. She prioritized drugs over you and men.
And she's continuing to do so.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And Jasmine's not going to be able to stop it. Let's just let's just put that out there. She
No.
couldn't stop it before when she was a child. She's not going to stop it as an adult. So she's telling the priest all about all of the stuff she's done, and I gasped at the fact that she said she's taken $800,000 from men while in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? That is a what? Because if she was there for 8 years, that is $100,000 a year.
That she does not have anymore.
She doesn't have.
She has
She
no
blew
money.
on drugs and whatever else.
a hundred
Crazy.
thousand dollars a year when you don't have bills to pay. Like, I don't know what they charge in prison, but you don't have like your rent to pay and you don't have utilities and
No.
food and all that stuff. And I get they get commissary, but between commissary and drugs, she spent $100,000 a year. That's
Yep.
insane.
Mm-hmm. I wrote in parentheses she should be loaded then. We all know that that's not true.
Scott asks Jasmine if she thinks that Lizzie is using him for his money. And Jasmine says she doesn't know, which I thought was really interesting because Jasmine keeps saying that she will do anything to break them up. And I feel like that was the opportunity presented to her. Like, oh, do you think she's using me? She could have said yes. And it probably wouldn't have made any difference, but it would have proven that she would do anything to break them up.
Let's be honest, Scott knows that Lizzie's using him. I don't know what this bullshit is of asking, people that are in their 20s whether or not a full grown woman is using a full grown man who's who has clearly been around the block. Come on now. Scott said it should be Lizzie's choice and not Jasmine's, and that Jasmine says Scott is just pressuring her mom. No, he kind of, okay, but she's going along with it for one thing. We know what her goal is here.
She says she had money on her books all the time, and she explained to the priest how she scammed her tricks.
Yeah, she said she'd say that her mom didn't put any money on her account and would whine and cry so that they'd send her money.
Right. I wonder how many
Meanwhile, she
tricks.
had a lot. Yeah, I was just gonna say it was a lot of tricks for that amount of money. It was a lot.
Yeah. Next up, Matt and Caitlin. Caitlin is cleaning, quote, a little bit. And I believe that it probably was a little bit because she seemed to drive that point home just a little bit.
Yeah, well, but she was cleaning her friend's apartment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and I'm like, I wrote, well, she can't help Matt's mom with housework and cleaning her house, but she can help this random friend while Matt's out trying to get a job.
I thought it was his mom. Oh.
Nope, it was her friend's apartment because she was trying to keep busy.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt comes back and he tells Caitlin what he said to the boss. And, he said he told Caitlin a long time ago that he's a snapcase. Then get fucking help because that's not a way to go through life. That's just going to land you back where you were. That's one of the reasons why you were where you were. Don't we want to move forward now that we are almost 30 years old?
He's not reliable.
No.
She says they've overstayed their welcome at his mom's, which they most certainly have, and they almost did right off the bat.
Yeah, and then she says what I said, where he could have just gotten dirty and then next week bought new shoes and new clothes with his paycheck. I mean, that
Right.
made the most sense to me.
I feel like, she's obviously not happy with him. And I feel like the points that she's arguing are very reasonable. She's not being outrageous in what she wants, what she's asking from him.
The friend says that Matt needs to bite his tongue and pull up his sack.
That's right. Back to Megan, Michael, and Sarah. Megan and Michael are on their first date at Niagara Falls.
Yeah, she said it's nice to be experiencing that as a couple, and I'm like, soak it in now, baby, because that's gonna be the last time for a while.
Shockingly, she says everything is romantic. Everything. This is romantic. This car ride is romantic. This hotel room is romantic.
Yeah, well, when life gets real, all that ends. It only happens once in a great while. And this isn't an extravagant like spoiling here. It's just fucking Niagara Falls.
Right. I mean, we went there. They went and did the same thing we did.
Yeah, I mean, you and I went on a date on the Maid of the Mist together. That's fucking so. I've been on the Maid of the Mist. I can't even tell you how many times in my life because I live in Buffalo. You've seen it once, you've seen it, a million times. It is cool though, and you can only stare at a waterfall so many times before it becomes non-romantic anymore.
He says Sarah has been calling, but he hasn't answered, despite the fact that she bought him the phone.
Yeah, I think he didn't bring his phone to the falls with him to the waterfall, not to the area of the falls.
Yeah, he took it to Niagara Falls with him.
Yeah, he took it to Niagara Falls, but when they were at the romantic waterfall, he didn't have his phone.
Right.
They used her phone to take pics. This was a plan because he didn't want pics on his phone. This was a whole plan, and he didn't want his phone to ring either.
Right.
Then we go to Sarah, and her friend comes in, and Sarah's crying, and she says she doesn't know where he is.
Her worst fear is him going away and never coming back. But she does clarify once again for us that she does not think he's cheating. And I don't think so much she's clarifying for us. I think at this point she is trying to convince herself.
Yeah, she needs to wake up. And now we do ironically see Megan and Michael going onto the Maid of the Mist. And let's just say we need to say that if you do go on the Maid of the Mist, if you stand on the top deck, you will get less wet than if you're on the bottom deck. Jen and I know this
I wouldn't
with her
call,
wet socks.
I wouldn't call it romantic by any means. It was fun, but I wouldn't call it romantic. It was our romantic date.
Well, so my first thought was, "Oh God, I hope he doesn't propose to her." I'm like, "Please don't." And I was thinking the whole time that that was going to ruin my favorite episode of The Office where Pam and Jim get married on the Maid of Mist, and I'm like, "Please don't fuck that up for me."
Next, we're back to Clinton Tracy, and he says she left him for her addiction, which is true.
Yeah, that's the first like normal sane statement.
Somebody must have said it to him. He's tracking his phone. He says he battles depression every day, and this is relevant because we kind of talked about some mental health issues that he could have.
He says she's ignoring him because she's not answering the phone because the phone is off. But what I'm thinking is she probably isn't just isn't charging it. Like she probably doesn't have access to a charger. She might have taken the phone but not the charger.
Right. I don't think she had the forethought.
Yeah, and at that, I mean, it may not. Well, I think this is like 2018, 2019. At that point, not all phones use the same charger like the new ones do. So, like now, you can plug a Android into the same charger as a new iPhone. But back then, it wasn't like that. She's not going to spend any of that $100 on a charger at the Dollar General.
She doesn't have that money. It was gone 10 minutes after she
Yeah.
walked out of that room. He says he loves her no matter what, and love conquers all.
Yeah, he's been screwed over, but love conquers all. Okay, here. Mom said she didn't know that Tracy was a drug addict. And I'm like, well, common sense would have told you.
I don't know what he told his mom about her because I feel like he may be misrepresenting her to a point, you know?
Yeah, but there's background checks. She could have checked up on who this. I would have. I definitely would have.
I thought that they did. I thought that she said that they did run a background check on her, but
I thought she knew that she was a drug addict. I don't know where this came from. I don't know. I was for sure I for sure thought that they knew about her drug addiction and what she was in for.
He says he knows for a stone cold fact that she's in love with him. I don't understand
Yeah,
how you can know that. Like, how? I don't get
because
it.
she wore that lingerie and had sex with him, right? He says she wasn't using me until she took the car and my phone and my money.
His ex
The
calls him.
logic.
Yeah, no kidding. His ex calls him and says Tracy called the hotel from jail looking for him.
Oh God.
He's so happy. He's so happy that she's been arrested because then he says he knows she's safe.
Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Did you catch the part where mom tells him beauty fades, but then what? You're just left with a drug addict?
I mean, she's not wrong. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She's his mom is so disgusted, and she at this point thinks Tracy's going to ruin Clint's life, and I think she's right.
Yeah, mom is now starting to look at Clint like he's nuts. Like she's just like it's just a matter of time. Like she's looking at him differently now. I don't see the same look on her face.
We round this episode out with Megan, Michael, and Sarah, and Megan says next time they should do paintball. And she tells us she's eager for him to propose, although supposedly they're engaged. But we went through this. They got engaged over the phone, and she wants a real proposal with a real ring.
Yeah, she said she feels like a teenager and they're gonna go out to dinner that night. Or are they?
Bum bum bum. Because Sarah messages him to let him know that his PO is looking for him because he was out past curfew.
Okay, I've got a question about that. Let's pause there. How do they know he was out past his curfew? How do they know that? Does he have an ankle monitor? Is he supposed to call? Do they call him? Do they check his phone?
I guess they could call or show up at the door. I know somebody, the only person I know who was on parole or probation, they came to the door to see if they were there and ask questions like, were they here last night? That kind of stuff.
Okay, but then so now Sarah would know though that he's not in the area. He's not where he's supposed to be. Wouldn't she know because they live together, right?
She just knows that he's not where he's supposed to be. She doesn't have any idea where he actually is. He's
Okay.
supposed to be at home with her. And if
Yeah.
probation checks on him, and there's no way for Michael to know whether probation actually did come by or call, or if Sarah's just making this up to make him come home.
Yeah, so that means that it's definitely has nothing to do with his phone because he would know if the PO called because he has his phone.
Correct.
So then Megan is like, "Hey, I thought you had all of this cleared with his probation officer." She said probation officer. We still don't know what the frig the difference is between parole and probation. Don't know. If you know, please tell us, please.
I still think parole's out of prison and probation's out of jail, but I don't know that.
I don't know. When I read there was like different conditions for each, I really don't know. So Megan is crying, of course. I mean, I'd cry too because they're not going out to dinner and Michael's going back home and she's in Niagara Falls. She's about to have another what? Sorry.
She gets to spend like less than 24 hours with him.
Yeah, Michael said he's upset that he had to break her heart and then that she's in there crying. And do you think he's really upset? Do you do you think cuz we know he's a sketchy guy.
I don't know. I don't think that he cared. I don't know, man. I don't like Michael, so I don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt.
No. I can't find any redeeming. I could actually find I would be quicker to be able to find some sort of redeeming quality in Lizzie over Michael at this point. And that would be far stretched.
I agree with you on that. It would be hard, but it could be done.
Hmm.
Who's your VIP for this week?
I should really start thinking about this ahead of time. I'm gonna go with Matt's former boss for trying to get Matt's his boss that was to be and never was.
Oh, okay. Sam's boss.
For Sam's boss for trying to force Matt into getting his clothes dirty. That's what I'm going with.
This week I'm going to go with Clint's ex-wife for not firing him on the spot.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Again, we encourage you to share the podcast with everyone you know who loves the show and to visit our Facebook group so we can all talk through the week about Love After Lockup. Until then. So that's about it for this week's episode. If you enjoyed the podcast, head over to Apple or Spotify to rate and review. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join our group on Facebook at Love After Lockup Locked Down. Listen every Wednesday wherever you find your podcasts and keep those notifications on to be the first to catch bonus episodes.
And in the meantime, don't fall in love.
And don't get locked up.
First date at Walmart, keeping it low. Told the clerk, don't judge me, I'm on parole. I brought roses, okay, 1 rose from a gas station. She said, oh babe, now that's validation. We be vibing in a halfway suite. Microwave dinners, romance elite. She my ride or die, she brought me a phone. Even snuck it in once, pre-release song. She hold me down like a key-o with charm. Except she don't mace me or twist my arm. We write vows in Sharpie on my court docs. Judge said no contact, but we beat the clocks. Love after lockup, cuffed and proud. Matching jumpsuits, now we rockin' the crowd. She said, don't mess up, I said, bet. Now we're TikTok stars with no regrets. So here's the love and second chance thrill. From a concrete bed to Netflix and chill. They said, don't catch feelings, but I caught a case of butterflies, girl, not just in one place. Ankle monitor beep. Oops, curfew gotta bounce.